I modded my Left 4 Dead. I have my when Nick is No Face from Spirited Away.
Oh, nice. I also modded the tanks so that they're Shrek. Because I thought that one would be really funny, and it was. It's really funny. They come in and they start yelling Shrek quotes, crushing people.
I modded my Left 4 Dead 2 so it looks like Crash Bandicoot levels.
Oh, yeah, I have that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that one is pretty good. Crash Bandicoot, I feel like that's an underrated series a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe that's actually a pretty good series.
It's completely underrated because no matter what rating you give it, it deserves a higher rating.
You know, off Steam, I downloaded Crash Bandicoot Generations. I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Oh, man, that one's my favorite.
What's your favorite, Keenan? Out of the
Crash
first
Bandicoot, 3.
Really?
Yeah, I think 3 is objectively the best one.
I think 2 is.
Also, I think I like 1 a lot, though. I like 1 and 3 the best of those 3.
Wow, that is the opposite of me.
I like 2 a lot, though. I like them all quite a bit.
Wrath of Cortex, man. Wrath of Cortex.
They're all good. Guys, did you guys get my video I just sent you on Skype?
Yeah, I just watched Shirk.
I'd like you all guys, everybody, to watch Shirk real quick.
It's pretty good. This is kind of in the same vein as Skull Trumpet.
It's a quick 11-second vid that I think you guys all need to see. I'm going to watch it again.
This is making for some great podcast material.
Yeah, stuff.
Things that people can't see.
David, start it again.
All right, welcome to the Garbage Cast.
Right.
I'm your host, David. We have on the other line Jordan Cole.
All right, and that's my time, boys. Have a great evening. Stay safe and have a great 4th of July.
Thank you, Jordan.
All right, there goes Jordan. All right. We don't have Jordan, but we have Josh Davis.
My dog's barking enough to kind of fill in for Jordan's spot.
Yeah, filling all that dead air. And lastly, we have Keenan Calhoun.
Hey guys, I'm here in Kelso.
How you both doing?
I'm great, man. I'm having a good time watching Shirk videos, gaming it up. Not right now though. Earlier.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is, we have a small number tonight, smaller than normal.
Where's Mike?
He's not participating.
Oh, okay.
And, there are topics I want to discuss, but I want to discuss them with, certain other people, namely Tyler Bauer. And people who have seen the video that I sent out. It's about internet fame, but we'll do it at a later date. But, now that we're doing this sort of improvisational topics, I'm going to go to the old standby. What have you guys been playing? What's going on? What's going on in the Garbage Town playfield? In the playing field,
I'll let Keenan go first. I'm going to give my dog some food to entertain it and stop it from barking.
Okay. Keenan, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? That's a great question.
Wait, hold on. Let me guess.
David.
Let me guess.
Yeah. You're my Steam friend. You'll know.
Yeah, let me guess. Hold on.
All right, guess a little bit.
Dota 2.
Sure. Not as much as... I've been losing a lot, so I've actually been playing a little less lately.
And Biohazard 4.
Yes, I've been playing Resident Evil 4.
Biohazard 4.
Yeah, I've been playing some Biohazard. It's fun. It's like I bought it on sale when it was the daily deal, like last Friday, and man, it's still one of my favorite games of all time. It's so good.
How does it run on PC? Do you use mouse and keyboard? I guess is like
I do use mouse and keyboard.
Yeah,
and the controls take a little getting used to because Leon controls like a tank. Like you don't look around with the mouse. You look around left and right. And so also if you're going to play this game, you have to opt into the beta of the updates because there's some big problems with it. But if you opt in to like early access updates, the problems aren't there anymore. Like, namely, the sound would just stutter like crazy anytime more than like 6 people would show up, which was awful, but it's better now. I fixed it.
Huh, that's weird. What part of the game are you in?
I've actually finished it, so I'm playing through.
Whoa.
I'm playing through Separate Ways, the Ada Wong campaign.
Yeah, I never ended up doing that on the version I played through was the Wii version, which is a great version. I like that version a lot,
it's
actually.
probably the best. That or the PC one are the best for sure.
We're talking about Resident Evil 4?
Yeah.
You play that game, Josh?
Yeah. I played the Wii one. It's great.
Yeah, I did the same thing. The Wii one is great. Like, if you're in a setup where like using the Wiimote isn't entirely a complete nuisance, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Keenan and I were talking about this yesterday about how there was never really another shooter on the Wii that did it that well.
Yeah.
And so because of that, that's definitely the definitive version of the game, just because that's pretty much the only like great shooter experience you can have on the Wii.
Yeah.
And it really is a unique, cool experience. It works,
Totally.
It works great.
Yeah, did you guys ever play Metroid Prime 3?
Mm-mm.
Or the Metroid Prime Collection, actually, since they were all adapted for Wii eventually?
Yeah, I played a little bit of 3. Not much. I don't really remember them.
I ended up not, but I really regret it because the Metroid Prime series is great.
Yeah.
The thought of playing a whole one of those games using Wii controls wasn't my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So I'd never picked up 3 or the trilogy. I wish I would have picked up the trilogy now. But I don't know. I would think that game might also be okay with Wii controls.
Yeah. The Wii was like when the console was first coming out, I was so excited for it.
Yeah, wait. What grade were you in? Or what like age? Do you remember?
When did it come out?
2006.
Yeah, I was in 6th grade then, 6th or 7th grade. So I was, however old that is, I think 12, 13.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and it just seemed really cool, and and Wii Sports was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, like I'd say Wii Sports is probably the best game on the Wii.
I disagree, but I mean it is one of the best for sure. Top 10.
It's got some of the most replayability, just because you can play it with friends forever.
And it does like a really good job of just like communicating what the Wii is about.
Yeah. Like Wii Sports Resort was not as good at all.
Yeah, definitely not. It did come with a free Wiimote though, which is cool.
Yeah, I feel like that's sort of like how they sell most games like that. It's just free Wii remote.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah, I waited in line like 9 hours or something for my Wii.
Wow.
It was honestly like one of the most fun gaming experiences I've ever had because everyone had their DS on them.
Oh, wow.
And so we just all played, and like, you know, the DS has a bunch of download play stuff, so like it was mostly single cart multiplayer that was going on. But like, you know, a lot of Mario Kart, we played like Metroid Prime Pinball. And, like,
nice.
Tetris DS and like all these games. It was really, really fun. And like everyone was, you know, there for the same reason. Everyone wasn't like afraid of being too like nerdy or whatever because it was like we're all waiting in line for the Wii. There was a ton of people too. Like it was probably like 100 people by the end.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 20 people by the time I got there. But yeah, like I was pretty young when it came out, and I just remember thinking, like, this was it. Like, this is, like, virtual reality is, like, pretty much here, you know?
Yeah, I remember thinking and hoping that that's where gaming was going to go. It was more
me too.
And now I'm just hoping and praying that gaming goes further and further away from the Wii image, other
Yeah,
than
me too.
Nintendo. Because I don't want to play games like that anymore. I want to play like real games. That's
Just-
what I feel like almost at this point. Like games on the Wii, not on the Wii, but like the Kinect doesn't have like zero of those games I would consider like real video games.
Yeah.
And like PlayStation Move is stupid. It's a novelty. Like nothing.
PlayStation Move is probably the worst.
I don't know. I haven't played it.
I
very
feel like it
much.
was adopted the least.
That's
yeah,
true.
and that's why it's the worst. Like it just has like the least supported library.
That's true.
I actually like. I don't know. I played a lot of games on 360 and PS3 that were like super realistic. You know, at least aspiring for super realistic stuff, and so
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of fun playing Nintendo games again.
Yeah.
The Mike just got for his birthday. He got the Lego Undercover Detective game.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I heard that's just like a GTA Lego game.
It is. It's really cool. It's weird. It's like the writing is like obviously kid friendly, but there's some funny gags and
Yeah, totally. I was just talking to Seabass today about this actually. Lego is a smart company. Like
yeah.
they actually make good products like across everything. Like I just watched the Lego movie last night. It's really, really good. Like you know, once again, it's like a kid-friendly thing, but they're just creative and like the humor is like sweet, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of cop humor,
I like that.
a lot of donuts, and there's like the bumbling fool guy, and his name is Frank Honey. One of the best gags he was doing is he just keeps calling a computer a computer, and he can't figure out that it's called a computer. And then also a great gag with his last name. His last name is Honey. So
Yeah.
whenever anybody yells at him and yells like to do anything, they're like, "Honey, go get this thing," which is a good gag.
That is good. I like that. See, they're a good company. Have you guys seen the Lego movie?
No.
No, I haven't.
It's good. Like I recommend it if like you ever just I don't know. It's not imperative to watch, but like it does some really smart things towards the end that are like super creative.
Cool.
The movie just also like looks incredible. It's like it's all CG, but like it just looks so Lego. It's crazy.
Well, didn't they like build some Lego things and take some data from them or something?
Yeah, so Seabass was explaining this to me today because, you know, typical Seabass, he hasn't seen the movie, but he knows everything about it.
Yeah.
So he was telling me that like there's like this software that like it's sort of like a game. It's like you have access to all the pieces, like all Lego pieces, so you can just build whatever virtually. And they used that software to make everything in the movie.
Wow.
So they just like had something that like converted like what they made into like their really nice CG looking like engine or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, everything in that movie is done on Lego. Like all like an explosion or like water splashing. You don't get like any dissonance with like real world or like different special effects. Everything is done on Lego and it looks amazing. Like absolutely amazing.
That's cool.
That is really cool. That's like it's a lot of work.
Yeah, seriously, I was watching this and I was like, man, this seems like it's a real feat, like technical feat. Yeah, I don't know. It's really good. Like, if you find yourself enjoying that Lego game, like, I mean, the Lego movie is also awesome.
Cool.
Well, I was not expecting to talk about Lego tonight, but here we are.
Hey man, we all love Legos here.
Yeah, did you guys
Star
play?
Wars-
Did you guys play Legos when you were a kid?
Yeah, I played with Legos quite a bit. Like, I was I loved building the pre-made. Like, I loved building the sets as the instruction book said, because I just thought it was cool to like get a Lego version of. I was mostly a Lego Star Wars fan.
Me too. Me too. Like the episode 1 stuff.
Oh yeah, I loved the games and I loved the sets. I got both a lot.
Are you guys
Yeah.
excited about the Lego Star Wars movie spinoff?
Yes, of course. I'm excited about anything Lego and Star Wars combined related.
The new
Most
the new Boba Fett Lego
Lego
movie?
Star Wars movie. Yeah, I can't wait for Lego Star Wars Boba Fett.
They got the same actor to play Boba Fett in it.
The same Lego actor.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Lego Star Wars 1. A little trivia here for the boys at home. For the boys back home. Lego Star Wars 1 was the first game that I ever 100% completed. Yeah. And by that I mean I did literally everything available to be done in that game.
That had nothing to do with the game.
Hey man, just had to let everybody know Lego Star Wars 1 was my first 100% run. I got all the golden minifigures or
Yeah, there's a lot of characters in that game.
yeah, there was a lot to do. Like I had to go through every level and get a bunch of money. But the big thing was that I had to go through and find all those like super kit pieces,
Yeah.
which was really annoying to find, but it was I think you got Darth Vader for 100% completing the game.
You
got
didn't get him before that?
No, because I mean he doesn't show up in any of the first 3 movies.
Oh, it was the first 3, yeah.
Yeah, because that was the prequel trilogy.
Yeah. Did you like that game better than those movies?
Oh, 100%, 100 times,
Yeah.
1,000, 10,000% more.
Those movies are fun.
I have a really good story about the first 3 movies.
Oh, good. I'd love to hear it.
So, it's known amongst like people who are like
Star Wars fans.
yeah, or like
Big
just
Starheads.
generally into like quote unquote like
Big
nerd
nerds.
culture or whatever.
think
You
they
know,
call
that
them-
like the first 3 movies are like definitely not as good as like or the prequels are not as good as like the actual trilogy.
Yeah. That's fact.
But like I think for a large portion of like the general public, it's just all Star Wars, you know?
Sure.
And this was reaffirmed to me. So at the place I work, we get a lot of downtime, and I was working with this other coworker, and like it's sort of an unspoken thing that it's like a lot of the people I work with, because I work at like I'm a lifeguard, and so a lot of my like co-lifeguards are what you think of when you think of lifeguards, like, you know, sort of sporty, like not very into like
Star
art or
Wars.
media or yeah, Star Wars.
Cool job,
And-
dudes.
I just felt so uncomfortable this one day because like one of my coworkers, you know, I won't disclose their name, but
Yeah,
like-
sure.
she was watching, she like puts on a movie on her laptop, and like I could tell that this was like an effort to like bond or like connect, you know,
To
in some
you?
way. Yeah, yeah. Just because like when you work, like it's just 2 guards at a time, you know. So like, and you're in the same like room for an extended period of time, so it's like you got to try and be, you know, friendly.
Sure.
And so I think people know that I'm, you know, sort of like quote unquote nerdy or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. How do they peg you as that?
It's those glasses, isn't it?
Uh,
The pocket
And-
protector, isn't it?
and so, you know, she puts on Star Wars Episode 1.
Yeah.
That's cute.
And, huh?
That's cute.
Yeah, that's really cute.
And she's like, she's like, "Oh, I love this movie," and I didn't know what to say, so I just had to be like, "Me too."
Me too, huh? You should have said,
Uh,
"Oh, I've never seen it. What is it?"
And I just felt, I just felt like, because I wasn't gonna get into like the minutia of like, you know, the critically accepted Star Wars movies and what's, you know.
So you weren't gonna go up to her and tell her she had shit taste?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because she was making an effort to, to try and be friendly and be nice and actually like do something that was trying to like appeal to me. Like it was sort of like a nice thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
But like it's just one of those things. It's like when your mom like buys you a shirt
Oh God! I know
and like
exactly what you're talking
she's like,
about.
it's exact, it's for you, or like,
It's what you like.
yeah, it's what you like. It has this on it, and it's just like absolutely like horrible. And you're like,
Yeah.
it is, yeah, it is,
So, obviously, everybody always tells me when I try to protect the original Star Wars franchise. Actually, sorry guys, I'm noticing that this little recorder is saying low battery, so hold on a second.
All right.
Okay, so sorry for the interruption, viewers. But
Listeners.
so I'm gonna give my little speech about Star Wars Episode 1. I loved the movie as a child. I haven't seen it for many years. People have told me I need to watch it again because I won't like it anymore, is what they say. But I wonder what you guys think. Do you think that the entire world that was created with those was bad? Or do you just think the movie is bad? Because I think there's a lot of cool characters and there's been a lot of cool other stuff made based on those prequels, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's all bad to me.
What was bad about those was the writing, the acting,
Plot decisions.
the plot. Yeah, the plot.
Specifically, Darth Maul should not die.
The
They messed up.
see, a lot of some of the characters were bad. The main characters were bad. The motivations of the characters
What's
was
wrong?
really bad.
What's
The-
wrong with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and
Oh, I'd love to describe. Actually, I know exactly what is wrong with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, and I'm going to tell you exactly. The thing about Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, I'm gonna start this by giving it a title. Obi-Wan. Okay. Qui-Gon Jinn is a shit character. What he did, all he was there for was to be stupid. He's the Jedi Master, right? He's Obi-Wan's master. He's his teacher. He's his mentor, right?
yeah.
Right.
And so why is it that Obi-Wan's the voice of reason, and Qui-Gon's the guy who just says fuck it all the time?
Can you give me examples? I don't remember.
Okay, well, for the big one is, he brings Anakin to the Jedi Council and says, "I'd like to train this kid," and then the Jedi Council says, "No, he's too old. It's not going to work. He's got a lot of power, but because he's too old, he's not going to ever learn how to truly control it." And also,
Qui-Gon says this, that he wants to train Anakin.
yeah, Qui-Gon says, I want to train Anakin. Obi-Wan says no. He says we shouldn't do this. Qui-Gon says, I think it's a good idea. They go to the Jedi Council. The Jedi Council says, we're not going to train this guy because the prophecy says that this kid will ruin everything.
Okay. Well,
And Qui-Gon says, whatever. Starts training him anyway.
I want to point something out here just at this point. These movies are prequels.
Yeah.
This is important to recognize. and Anakin had to be trained to make it to the original movies.
Well, he had to. That's true. But I mean,
Qui-Gon didn't have much to work with.
yeah. I mean, it's not.
It's like,
He was
you
full-
guys, you don't understand. In 2 more movies, he has
needs
to be
to
this
be a
way.
villain.
Exactly. But I mean, that's just bad. He's just a bad character. Like what it should have been was Obi-Wan should have been the one who was saying, "We got to train this kid. He's got a bunch of potential." And Qui-Gon should have been saying no. And so that when Qui-Gon died, by just like he just like wasn't paying attention. By the way, that's why he died. And he's a Jedi, and so he should be paying attention. So he dies for no reason, and then that's when Obi-Wan's like, my master died. I must fulfill his dying wish by training this kid, who I still don't really think it's a good idea. Basically, throughout the movie, Obi-Wan says, "Let's do this bad idea." Qui-Gon says, "Let's do this thing that's a bad idea." Obi-Wan says, "Please no," but they do it anyway. Also, when Qui-Gon is betting for Anakin's freedom,
Yes.
he puts a lot on the line for the sake of he puts like everything that they have, their only chance of getting off that planet for Anakin.
Okay.
And I mean, you could have said, he's a Jedi, so he has like clairvoyance and stuff, but I don't know. I don't buy it. I think
Okay, I'm
a
just
calm
at
Jedi
this point again. I'd like to point something out. First of all, like you said, he was right. Second of all, this movie, it was required for Anakin to get off of Tatooine so that they could eventually, in 2 more movies, make it to the point of
Yeah.
the 4th movie.
But what
I think what Keenan is saying is I don't think it's negating like those requisites. It's like there are probably smarter ways to do it.
that's exactly what I'm saying. Everything that Qui-Gon
They couldn't
does
get
is
off.
the wrong decision.
They couldn't get off the planet. What else could they have done?
I don't know.
I,
I mean,
they can fill the plot with anything they want.
You think Jedis can fly? You think they're just going to fly home?
I mean, all they had to do to get off the planet was to like. Also, when what's the guy who owns the shop? Watto.
Watto.
When Watto says,
Love
"Oh,
him.
I'm the only guy in town with this part," why do they just believe him? They just like he says that, and they just go, "Oh, he's the only guy."
See, to me, really, what we're highlighting here, to me, is the intense level of just picking apart these movies that has gone on since these movies. Nobody does this. I mean, people do this.
Josh. I think there's a more simple way of telling that this movie is bad. And this is not nitpicking. When people say that they love, when people make the argument that the first movie is not bad, what's the one thing they bring up?
The lightsaber battle?
No. Keenan, do you know?
I don't know. The
It's
pod racing.
Yes, the pod
That's the
racing.
best scene of the
everyone's
movie.
like, you didn't like one? The pod racing. If your whole movie is relying on one like 20-minute scene, it's not good. Like
See,
that's all
I
anyone remembers from that film.
Pod racing
For me,
is
honestly,
pretty
that
good.
that
by
and
the way.
that and Darth Maul.
Honestly,
Yeah.
for me, like, probably more, and obviously I was young when I watched this, but probably more than any movie, I really like the world that was created in that, probably more than any sci-fi thing I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like the technology and they just added a lot of personality and character to that world that, I don't know, I think it was the perfect thing, especially for kids, but and obviously that's why that movie has inspired so much stuff off of it.
Yeah.
All of the prequel stuff has people make more stuff about the prequels, I feel like, than the original movies. I guess those are more recent now, but I don't know. I think that those movies maybe were a failure in storytelling, but they're a lot more fleshed out of a universe than the original movies had.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you even want to know like my honest thoughts on the original, it's been a long time since I've seen 5 and 6, but I watched 4 this last year, and I don't think 4 is a good movie.
Really?
I just feel like those
I-
movies are such broad strokes. The
Yeah,
4, 5, and 6. It's like they're talking about like themes more than they're talking about an actual story of characters.
I think the pace in 4 is way like this is a personal preference thing, so maybe like people actually like this part about it, and I'm actually sure they do. But like I think things go too quickly in 4. Like and especially for an old movie, maybe that's why like people find it so good is because it sort of has a modern pace.
Yeah.
But like it bothers me because I feel like we're not spending any time with the characters and everything's just going like all the time. And in the movie, I feel like everything's really abrupt and it's like, wow, I don't care about any of these characters by the end of the film. But like that's also like people really complain that Breaking Bad's really slow, but that's like one of my favorite things about it is like I just really like slower paced like movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
I wonder what like George Lucas's writing was like for the first one, because for the first one he was obviously more free because he hadn't just been destroyed by the reaction.
There's more what?
He hadn't
Josh?
just been destroyed by the reaction to the other movies. You know, I'm sure when he was writing 2 and 3, it was just like a horrible nightmare of like
Yeah.
trying not to make everybody mad, and it just made it worse.
Oh, 2 is the worst one easily.
For sure.
Yeah, two is. Yeah.
Two,
I mean,
two is
I
an
guess it's just like-
amplification of everything horrible in the first one.
The tone of 2 is the problem to me. Like the tone of 1, I guess because, you know, there's a kid in it and it's a more kid-friendly movie. It's like a warm tone to me.
Yeah, and it is like a bit more expansive and like adventurous.
Yeah.
1 has the most Star Wars-like tone of the prequels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
'Cause-
2 is obviously kind of trying to be the dark one, like I feel like, you know, Empire or whatever. But it's
Yeah.
like the way that Anakin is portrayed in 2 is just so unlikable to me.
He's horrible. He's whiny. He's stupid.
Yeah.
He makes bad decisions. He doesn't listen to the Jedi. That you like the Jedi. That's
Yeah.
what Star Wars sets you up to do, is be on the team of the Jedi, and he does everything against them, and nothing works out.
Okay, but I mean, I obviously I'm not just gonna keep saying the same thing, but it is moving it towards what he became.
Yeah.
And if it was a more likable portrayal, I mean, you can obviously understand the feelings.
Yeah, it would be more devastating.
You can understand the feelings Anakin is having because he's having real person feelings of like being
Exactly.
emotional and attached to people and caring about his mom and freaking out and messing
Yeah.
up. And Jedis don't do that. It's just that he was so annoying in those movies that
Yeah.
you couldn't even.
It's
get
the way
to
he
that.
did it. Because, like, I feel like in the first Star Wars movie, and by that I mean A New Hope, Luke at the beginning is pretty annoying.
Yeah.
yeah, he's
like-
pretty dumb.
Yeah, he's pretty self-centered. He's just like, he's a whiner. He just does stupid things. But like over the course of all of the movies, he becomes like way cooler. You know, he becomes much more likable because he learns things. And like he figures out how to be a good Jedi. Over the course of the movies, he figures it out. And you know, because take the opening scenes of 4 where he's whining about like this and that, and he wants to go into town, but he's being told to clean the droids and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And then the beginning of 6 where he like calmly walks into Jabba's palace and just starts fucking things up and like does everything just totally cool and kills the Rancor and doesn't even care. And that's what's cool. You see his transition from a whiner to like a true Jedi.
Yeah.
But in the prequels, Anakin never becomes likable. He's just a whiner. Like in the first one, he's a whiny little kid. And the second one, he's a really, really whiny teen. And then the third one, he's an insanely whiny adult who you hate.
I guess like for the third one, How do you guys feel about the third one?
It's better than the second one.
One's better, I think. The first, I feel like one is better than three. People always say that three's the best, but three has, I think, the worst characters.
I think three just has some standout scenes that like are
Yeah.
like, and by standout I mean like I'm not even sure if they're necessarily good, but they're surprisingly dark. It's like, wow, Anakin goes and kills all those kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a little almost too far. Like they're just trying to they're trying
Yeah,
too hard.
totally. It's like it's pretty like all right.
It's very grim dark, you know. Like they're just trying to
Yeah, they're trying to like
they're
force
trying to
like
shock you.
yeah, exactly.
Star Wars needs shock value.
And then there's the infamous like, execute Route 66.
Yeah.
Scene.
Execute Route 66, definitely. They start riding their motorcycles down the highway. But yeah, I know what you...
I just feel like when you look at those movies, you have to keep in mind that the point of them is a straight line to the beginning of 4. And, obviously the characters in Anakin's character in 2 and 3, if it would have been more sympathetic, it would have been more understandable, but they also were making him into a villain over the course of them. And, if they would have made you sympathize with him, his motivations weren't completely crazy until the end. And I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like at the end, the only time you ever sympathize with Anakin is at the end of 6 when he gives up the dark side and saves Luke. That's the only time when you're like, he's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like that's because that's the only time he shows any sort of development throughout any of these movies, other than it's the only time when he's like Anakin and not whiny.
I can't remember, but in either 2 or 3, are there any nice scenes of him and the girl that he loves?
Padme or whatever.
Him and Padme just have just a really creepy relationship the whole time. I think she just is basically like, no, we can't, and he says, just come on, he's basically just like. I mean, I don't know. It's just I don't like it. It's just a really uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
To watch, and she is completely unlikable. I don't know why anybody would be into her, because she's so stupid. She makes just stupid choices. Basically, the problem with those movies is the characters were written as a straight line because they need to get to 4 in the most logical way possible, but nothing nothing works. Absolutely nothing that George Lucas wrote works.
I feel like...
What do you think of that scene? Wait, hold on, Josh, you should go, because I'm just going to make a joke.
I feel like, in general, they just put a lot into the world of those, more and the look, more so than the story. And if you think about, George Lucas had already made 4, 5, and 6, and he'd made a story that people loved, and... going back in to make those movies however many years later, really the thing that he was able to do was make the world way more convincing and way cooler looking than the old ones. And I think that especially 1 looks really nice and it's colorful, and as a kid I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world, so I don't know.
I feel like sure it looks cool, but any of the stuff that those movies added to the Star Wars universe, I don't know, it's not really that good to me. What I like as far as Star Wars goes are I like the original movies, and then I love Knights of the Old Republic,
which is prequel era.
Weird, I don't like that game.
Knights of the Republic takes place over 1,000 years before the prequels.
Oh, really?
And so it's pretty much its own world. So does KOTOR 2. Jedi Outcast, I think, takes place thousands of years before the original trilogy. Pretty much everything good Star Wars either takes place during the original trilogy or thousands of years before. Because nobody wants to touch the prequels. Nothing they did was... I mean, they created cool worlds, but, nobody wants to touch it because the characters are so bad. The best part about 3 was the game. because it had a cool fighting game mini game at the end. Like, I don't know. I just feel like everything about those was just like tainted by bad characters and like bad plot, and so it's pretty tough to go back and I don't know. It's just tough to like make that world seem cool, even though it was well designed, like visually, and even that's aging pretty bad because of the bad special effects.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Like, I feel like if you watch the original versions of 4, 5, and 6, the theatrical versions with no CGI special effects, and then you watch 1, 2, or 3, you'll think that 4, 5, and 6 look better because they use puppets and like practical effects, and everything looks.
You're talking about before the reboot of 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, I've never seen the re-releases. I've only watched the theatrical or actually, I have seen some of the re-releases. I haven't seen all of them. And when I watch those movies, I watch the theatrical versions.
I mean, as a creator, and having done what George Lucas did with 4, 5, and 6 with songs, like.
Yeah.
Like re-recording some songs when we put them on metal music that had been on 3D or things before that. People came up to me and told me like, "Oh, I like the old recording better." And
yeah.
I am just like, "What are you talking about? It sounds horrible. You can't even like hear the song." And I watched the only version of 4, 5, and 6 I've ever seen is the rebooted version.
Yeah.
And it doesn't bother me.
I don't know, they just don't look. I feel like I actually, personally though, this is a thing on me. I really, really like practical effects. Like I just particularly enjoy puppets and models and stuff like, you know what I mean? Just practical classic effects. I don't like CGI as much.
Yeah, especially really early CGI.
Yeah, and so going back and watching the re-releases, every time they re-release them, I feel like they add more garbage to the screen. Because in 4, 5, and 6, every shot is like really nice and like not empty, but they have like the right amount of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And it's not cluttered. It's really clean and well made.
Mm-hmm.
But every time they re-release the movies, they just put more things on screen.
Yeah.
And so they're making these movies worse every time they re-release them because they put more things that get in the way.
I've seen some really funny like side by side breakdowns of like shots of like, why did they do this?
Like the scenes where they show up and when Obi-Wan and Anakin, or not Obi-Wan and Anakin, when Obi-Wan and Luke show up in Tatooine in the original, they ride in and there's just like some stormtroopers walking around and like a couple people. This shot you can see Obi-Wan and Luke and a little bit going on to tell that it's a town, but in the re-release, Obi-Wan and Luke drive in and then like a bunch of giant like monsters walk by the screen.
Yeah.
And like there's 1 million stormtroopers now and there's like 500 Jawas. The screen is just full of garbage and you can't even see Luke and Obi-Wan because they want to make sure that you see like these stormtrooper beasts walk in front of the screen to let you know like here we are, like these things were here the whole time. It's just a bunch of they just clutter the scenes up. It looks awful. I hate it.
I'm sure it would be worse if I had seen the first ones first.
That's possible.
I watched the re-release, and like the biggest problem for me is that like when I saw all the CG stuff, I was like, wow, that
doesn't
like that doesn't belong. I'm like this like there's like a weird dissonance between like the CG and like the 70s stylings of like the set.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so for me, it wasn't even that it necessarily looked bad or like anything like that. It just like completely took me out of it because I was like, it's the same thing in like Courage the Cowardly Dog when like they introduce another animation style and it's just jarring.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, like why is that there like that?
Yeah.
feel like you're being, you know, like it's sort of scary.
Yeah.
If you think about how crazy of an idea it is that George Lucas did that, like, I don't know.
No, it's really crazy.
I don't know other movies that did that in that way. And, like, I don't know, even though it didn't turn out well, it was a pretty brave thing for him to do.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I just rewatched the scene. Do you guys remember the scene in 3 where the Emperor like is about to be killed by Mace Windu and then he like shocks him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That scene is really funny.
That scene is horrible.
Like the way he's like now, now. Like his face gets all like scary and like oh my gosh, that scene is really funny.
It's so stupid.
It is really stupid. I like even when I first saw 3 and like, you know, I saw it in the movie theater, so like I was sort of like taken aback just by like the theater experience and I wasn't looking at things too critically.
Yeah.
I still remember that scene being like, wow, that was weird.
Yeah.
I honestly think that, like, this is probably just a difference in, like, mindset about things. Like, obviously, Star Wars could have ended earlier and it could just have, like, a perfect legacy like some things do. But, like, as a Weezer fan who still checks out what the band does and can still find some value in some songs post Pinkerton, it's like, I just am kind of a lot of the time of the mindset that if something's still going on, like, it doesn't destroy what came before. All it does
Yeah,
is
I agree on that end.
All it does is just give you a little bit more of the universe or give you a little bit more of the characters if it's that sort of thing.
And if you want, you can completely ignore it too. That's like the big
Exactly.
thing.
But just how about this? What if Rivers and Weezer kept re-releasing Pinkerton?
Well, yeah, that is the
adding
difference.
bad
That is the
overdubs?
difference.
I'll tell you what I think the comparison is. They did the Memories tour like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're playing it as 40-year-old Weezer, and I went to that show and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. But what if they kept re-recording and re-releasing the album Pinkerton and kept adding bad overdubs?
Not
Like,
only
just
that,
and then they tried as hard as they could to destroy the original version.
yeah,
so that
exactly.
Nobody
That's
could
the
ever
big
see
thing.
not-
It's like
that's
they make
not
the most
what-
accessible version like the newest version.
Yeah.
Well,
'Cause that's
yeah.
what George Lucas is trying to do. He is really upset that the theatrical versions are so easily available online because he doesn't want you to see those. He thinks they're not as good, but they're easily the definitive versions of those films.
That's yeah, it's weird, but
Yeah. Because I mean, the version of Pinkerton you love is the original, and so if he kept trying to destroy the original by fixing it in his own way, it would just keep getting worse.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't like. I mean, re-recording sometimes, like re-releasing. I don't know. I usually like to let things lie as they are,
Yeah,
as the artifact that they are.
I think the Beatles put it best. You know, let it be.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know, that was a
my
song.
fedora to the Beatles for sure.
That was a song, but it was also their band philosophy. You know,
Let's talk about those Beatles remasters now, hey boys?
I listened to a Beatles remaster and I was like, this is so weird because like they like tried to stereo some things out and like some things are just so hard panned that I was like, that sounds bad.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Taxman?
I don't remember.
I can't remember if Taxman was post stereo or not, because I believe some of the records were made, or most pre-stereo. Is that true? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
But Taxman, I don't know if it was post or not, but Taxman has the bass and drums and guitar panned hard left, and just vocals in the right, and tambourine in the right. But it sounds awesome, actually, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a Mogwai song that does something similar, where it's just like drums are in like one channel, which is like atypical and everything, but like it actually sounds really good. It's just balance.
I mean, I guess maybe a better comparison for me is that, like, Pet Sounds was a mono record. It sounds magical, and then when you listen to it stereo, it sounds less full because you hear, like, what you heard before was like the way all the frequencies interacted with each other, and if you spread stuff out, like, it sounds less full because some of those frequencies aren't even in the same ear anymore.
Yeah.
I still haven't listened to Pet Sounds front to back.
Neither have I.
Well, when maybe when you guys listen to that, we can talk about good taste, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. One thing I'll say.
Maybe then you'll like Star Wars Episode 1.
I thought that's what you were insinuating.
On a side note, I'm actually a pretty big fan of mono. I like mono better than stereo most of the time. I don't know. I like it.
Most of the time is a little broad for me.
For me, it's just like, I don't know, whatever makes sense.
Yeah.
That's true. That's what I mean. I don't know. I just think mono sounds cool. Maybe it's just because old recordings to me sound really cool.
Yeah.
But I kind of just like when things sound kind of bad in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's sort of like, I don't know. I really like lo-fi in all of its forms, whether it's like really old so it's lo-fi or just like really poorly done. Yeah. I like them all. I like lo-fi. Gives everything a weird character that it wouldn't have if it was made well.
Yeah.
Side note there.
Yeah. Wow. This podcast has been all over the place.
Star Wars cast.
Yeah, Star Wars cast. That is one thing I was not, really expecting to talk about.
Hey, we all love Star Wars here, man. We're all a bunch of nerds here.
Josh, have you been playing any games?
I played Wolfenstein today.
Yeah. Are we going to hold off on that?
My review's very short.
Okay.
I'll do it again on the version.
Yeah.
If we do an extended one, but
okay.
My review is I played it for an hour and a half.
I heard the first 30 minutes are horrible.
I got very sick, very, very motion sick.
Oh, okay.
And then I had to lay down and I went to sleep.
Sounds pretty good.
It wasn't bad, but it made me seriously sick.
That's really weird. I never really heard of that.
I just don't know if it's because I remember, like, old people would always play first-person shooters when I was younger, and they would get motion sick, and I'd be like, "What are you guys talking about?" And I was always like saddened by it because it's like, this is fun, and they just have to stop.
Yeah.
And I seriously couldn't play that game anymore, and I don't know if that's what's just going to happen to me now that I'm older. It's sad.
I'm really scared that like when I try an Oculus or a Morpheus for the first time, that is going to happen to me, which scares me because I really want it to be an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
maybe you need to change the. I guess you're on PS3. I was gonna say maybe you need to change the field of view.
Dude, turn on VSync.
Some games do make me feel pretty gross if the field of view isn't right. Like if it's too close, I can't play it because it just feels like I'm so cramped. And if it's too far, everything is like really fisheye. And like it just looks bad.
Strangely, I was playing it on a standard definition TV.
That might not have. I don't know.
That could be it.
I don't know. Why were you playing it on an SD TV?
It was more convenient at the time.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, I've been playing Mario Kart still.
Yeah.
Now that's
Is it awesome?
Game.
Yeah, Sebastian came down last weekend and we played a lot of Mario Kart.
Yeah, when Seabass was talking to me about that, he said he really, really liked it.
He loves graphics, and so it's fun to hear him talk about the graphics.
You should have heard him today because he got Far Cry 3 for 360, and he was like, "That game doesn't look very good." And I was like, "I would love for you to come check it out on my PC," you know?
Yeah.
And seriously, as soon as it like spit me out into the world, he was like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, this runs so nice." And then all he was saying was like the whole time he was over, like he was just talking about how like we didn't even play a game. We just kept on going in and out of different games to like see what they look like.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Sebastian needs to get a PC.
I know.
That's what he was saying. He because like he's been really wanting a PS4 is what he's been saying. But I think I might have changed his mind today.
PC Master Race.
I feel like the PS4 doesn't seem very good yet.
Yeah, not yet. I'm waiting. Like there are some exclusives I know would get me on board. Well, specifically two. If they make a Last of Us 2, I'd be very, very interested.
Yeah.
And The Last Guardian. But other than Keenan, Bloodborne's gonna be on there.
That looks pretty cool. I've barely played Dark Souls 2 though, so like I don't know. I'm just waiting for the PC release. It's coming eventually.
It's not though.
Yeah, I mean, once there's a PS4 emulator, I'll play it. It's happening. It's gonna happen eventually. I can wait.
How big are those files, though?
I don't know. I got a 2 terabyte hard drive. I can handle anything. By the time a PS4 emulator's out, I'm gonna have a 500 terabyte hard drive, dude.
What disc is PS4 on? Is it just Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When are we gonna move on?
To all digital?
Never. Yeah, we're gonna go all digital.
I'm ready to move on.
I feel like Blu-ray is the last disc.
I'm very close, very, very close to hitting 100 games on Steam.
Oh yeah? Let me check
Do
where
they
I'm
give you
at,
something
actually.
when you get that?
No.
Yeah, you actually get a badge on your Steam account.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I
let me
just
check
I
it.
just got There's Always Sometimes Monsters today because it was on sale.
Oh, nice. Is it
So-
cool? Have you played it yet?
I haven't played it yet, so my gaming schedule looks like this. I'm in the final chapter of Child of Light.
Cool.
If I had to guess, I know there's 2 bosses left because there's 2 like bad guys I haven't fought, and I know they both could be like big bosses. So, well, unless, yeah, I think there's 2 bosses left. So I think I probably have an hour and a half to 2 hours of the game left. I'm gonna finish it over the weekend, and I'll post a feature. Oh my gosh, I need to post that feature tomorrow. And I'll post a feature of it next Friday. If not, a review or both, something like that. And then after I do that, I'm gonna be playing Shovel Knight, which I've put 2 hours into at this point, and my early impressions are, man, I want to play that game really, really bad. I seriously think about it all the time. Like, man, that game is just what I want right now, really bad. Especially because, Keenan, did you watch any
I
of
haven't seen any videos of it. I don't know anything about it yet.
But have you been watching Summer Games Done Quick at all? It's over now, but did you
No.
watch any of it?
No, I
Yeah.
didn't.
So I've just been watching like all the speed runs, and like most of those are like side scrollers. Just like, man, I just want that right now. Like,
Oh yeah.
I just need that itch. I have that
Side
itch.
scroller.
Yeah, a side
Side-scroller.
scroller that like I just want to get really, really good at,
Oh, nice.
and I don't know. So then it's that, and then I'll either play. I really want to play Dark Souls 2. So I'll either. I don't know. I'm not sure when I'll get to There's Always Sometimes Monsters, but it'll be soon. It'll be either like my 3rd or 4th game in my canon, unless our podcast suggestion gets in the way of that. Not in the way, but you know what I mean.
You have a suggestion today?
My suggestion is just going to be that This Is Felfate. Well, actually, I guess it shouldn't be that because we want to do a review video of it, right?
Yeah, you should do a different recommendation.
Yeah. That'd be really weird to review a YouTube video.
You can think about it. Talk about it at the end.
I mean, my immediate reaction is, well, we've talked about Shovel Knight, but it sounds like that's not happening. Keenan and I are going to do that, but...
Yeah.
You guys should do it. If there was a way for me to play it for free, I would play it, but I just know I'm not going to like it, so...
Yeah. There's always sometimes monsters would be maybe a good one.
I would do that.
It is $7.49 on Steam right now.
Game sounds pretty cool, yeah.
I like, man, that's gonna be a real fun one to talk about. It's gonna be 3 to 5 white guys talking about a game that's decidedly about like discrimination and everything.
We gotta get Sebastian in on that conversation.
Yeah, I feel weird about that one, but I don't know.
Well, we talk about a lot of things as white guys.
Yeah, I mean, we do talk about everything as white guys, so.
That's all we can talk about, dude.
White guys love to talk.
That's true. We love
it is
we
true.
love just whiting out, dude.
Speaking of which, how about the death grips, huh?
Oh, yeah, I like the death grips, man.
Keenan and me were talking about how cool it would be to go see them at the Sleep Country Amphitheater because it's such a weird place for them to be playing a giant arena show.
That would be cool. When are they doing that anyway?
The point of this, David, or the point of this, Keenan, is that the Death Grips broke up.
What, really?
And they canceled all their tour dates.
They canceled everything without notice.
Oh my god.
Trent Reznor tweeted, "Sorry, everybody. I don't know why I thought those guys could keep it together."
Well, honestly, like, they haven't gone a year without canceling, like, at least a full tour.
Yeah.
So it really falls in line with them. Like, that band, I sent this, like, because I had a friend texting me about it. They were like, RIP Death Grips,
Yeah.
And I was like, Death Grips was always predictable in their unpredictability.
Yeah.
It's just like, no matter what they do, you just have to be like, okay. I guess that's the way it is.
It's just like, sometimes, some of the stuff Death Grips does, I imagine, could be compared in a much smaller and less insane way to the stuff Seacats does. People were writing about it today, and they were talking about, like, doing things to kind of separate the audience and, like, test who's in on it and who's not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. And, like, it's just, like, the difference with something like Death Grips is, like, I feel like half of it is, like...
What the hell was that?
that was Sam.
Oh, okay. Hey, Sam, how you doing?
I don't know. It's like those guys, like, don't care about anybody. And they're, like, kind of negative in the way that they, like, do these things. And, like, yeah, it's cool to be, like, punk rock and cancel everything and kill the establishment. But it's, like, it's clear because there was always a suspicion that, like, maybe these guys just aren't that nice, and maybe these guys just, like, are lazy, or maybe these guys just, like, aren't willing to deal with, like, real life. And it kind of seems like that is really confirmed. It's like they had an entire tour booked, like, Nine Inch Nails hooked them up with this really, really sweet tour. They were going to make a ton of money, like, whatever. Yeah, it's pretty cool that they were able to just turn that money down. But I don't know. There was people that thought it was cool and would have gone and seen them, and I don't know.
I mean, the way I see it is Death Grips will always yield to their idea of their art and will not care about anything else. Like, and I'm not saying, like, I don't even think that's, like, a good thing, because, like, I don't know, you should probably care about people.
I don't know, like, maybe that's it, but maybe they were just like, oh, I don't want to go.
Yeah, I guess, like,
So they did that like five times.
They could be, you know, just pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. But like the statement they issued was like, I'm not sure if you saw, but it was like, we're the best we're gonna be at this point. Like, we're at our peak, so we're just gonna stop now. Like, so there's no decline or whatever.
They don't know that, and I don't know. It's like,
oh yeah, like, but it's one of those things where it's just like they're obsessed with their idea of themselves, like even if it's not objectively like actually
it's
correct.
so funny. It's like how the prettiest people are the most worried about the way they look. It's like that band was trying so hard to like not be able to be perceived and to be so mysterious and everything, but it's like really obvious that they were obsessed with how they were perceived.
Oh yeah, totally. But that said, that band has an amazing discography and really put a jolt in that genre. Like, so I'm still a huge fan. I mean, I don't know them as people. Like, I can't judge them on that front. I think some of the cancellations they did were really like not nice, I guess. And they probably should have cared about like people who care about them more. and people who have like taken care of them more.
Yeah.
That said, I think their music's great.
Yeah. That's those things like, it's just like they didn't really have to do anything for anything that happened for them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I guess their music was like extreme enough that it made an impression on its own and grew on its own. But like, sometimes that's just like, as an artist, that's annoying. It's like, I know a lot of artists who work like way harder and it just doesn't work out for them.
Yeah, and it's also annoying on their end because that Phil Fish video talks about this, but it's like in this modern when it comes to the internet and like things becoming famous and like well known through that medium instead of through TV, it's people deciding what is popular, and in that sense, it's like their private life, like, I don't know, maybe they weren't like ever expecting to become that big, but like it's forced upon you when the internet is such a large portion of like the reason you exist.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Interesting band regardless.
Definitely.
I'd really like a documentary or something to come out to like understand the whole story of like how everything really works with that band and
definitely
what that band is about. But will we see that documentary? Probably not.
No.
I like the mystery.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. I like wondering what is going, or like I want to wonder for the rest of my life what the deal with Death Grips was.
Yeah, until you forget about them.
I don't know. I guess so.
Yeah.
I think we're getting to a point. We can definitely hit any more topics that we got that are cool, but I think we've about hit our peak, and I think it's time to cancel the podcast.
All right, that's probably a good idea. I was kind of done anyway.
Wow, ending early tonight, which is good. I like it.
Yeah,
I mean, not early in terms of podcast time, but early in terms of, Mackle time.
Mackle time, yeah. I think it's it's 11:37 in Mackle time right now. It's 11:40 where I am.
Yeah, I got 11:40 in Mackle time.
All right. With that said, thank you for listening. This has been the Garbage Town. Wait, what is it called?
Rest in peace, Death Grips.
Yeah. R.I.P. Thanks for listening. Bye, guys.
Rest in peace.